Hey, it's Terrie Carr, and thanks for checking out my web series. I bring in the artists and we chat, new artist classics, and everyone in between. In this episode, I welcome the legendary Don Felder, who discusses his new collection, The Vault 50 Years of Music, hitting the road with the Brotherhood of Rock, and why music and the fans mean as much to him today as when he started. Let's go. So I am with Fingers Felder, one of my favorite people, an American treasure and an icon. And there's not enough to say about Don Felder. It's so good to see your face.
It's wonderful to be back talking to you. I can't wait to see you. I hope you can come to the show so I can give you a big hug and thank you for doing this for me.
Absolutely. We are super lucky in Jersey. We're not getting one show. We're getting two shows. We've got a PNC Bank Art Center show on July 20th, and then we've got another date at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion in Camden on August 8th. This, by the way, of course, is the Brotherhood of Rock Tour with you, Kevin Cronin, and Styx. This is a long tour. There's 30 dates on this thing.
Absolutely. You know, we've toured together on and off since 2012, and I've known Kevin and Tommy Shaw for decades. And we just, this group of people, not only the artists, but the band members, the crews, the guitar tech, the front of house guy, everybody knows everybody. And there's no hissy fits, there's no drama, there's no egos. It's just fun to be together with people that you really know and like and play with, and then go out on stage and make 4 hours of just hit after hit after hit
Crazy.
after hit after hit. It's an amazing show. Not only that, but they're carrying a 40-foot wide by 20-foot high 4K screen. So there's video and entertainment that's just, I have never seen anything like it in my life. So not only is the music great, but the videos and stuff that are running with the songs are just amazing too. So
Wow.
I'm telling you right now, there will not be a single person that's there in the crowd that went, is that all we got? No, you got way more than what you ever bargained for with this show. It's a great show.
Oh, I love that. I always tell people too, if they have not seen a Don Felder show, I don't know why you have not. I mean, because the show is incredible. You are so respectful of the legacy of the hits that you know people want to hear, but you still make it exciting and weave in some of the great things that you've worked on, the solo stuff. Heavy metal is there and your guitar solos. And the thing I always love about you is you just always make it a show. You always look like a rock star. You come out, you give that great performance. You know, you're the awesome front of house guy, and it just always works so well. And I think you've been a fine oiled machine over the years, and you're doing it now better than ever.
Oh, I have to tell you, this band that I have with me now is the best band I have ever played with.
Really, the
The the
best?
in the individual musicianship in this band is phenomenal, and the vocals are spectacular. But I have guys like my bass player has played with, gosh, Gwen Stefani, Shania Twain. He was with Shania for 6 years, just this whole last year and a half touring on the road. He works with Kelly Clarkson. These guys
Wow.
aren't your like everyday, just sort of, pickup musicians. They're the creme de la creme. This drummer is a guy named Seth Roche. He's played with Rascal Flatts. He toured with Sheryl Crow, who used to open for us in the Eagles years ago. He was in a band called Little Big Town and played with
Such a good
them.
band. Yeah.
He was a drummer for a guy named Brad Paisley, maybe a guitar player you've heard of, and he worked for 6 years on the road as a touring drummer for Keith Urban. And
Wow.
he now works with Carrie Underwood when she's doing American Idol. He comes to work with me. And then when she's done with American Idol, he'll go back and work with. I've got a great guitar player, young guy. He's been with me over 10 years now, playing with me. He's played with Kid Rock. He plays with Kenny Chesney, and he plays with Tanya Tucker. These guys take these songs like you were talking about that are 40, some of them 50 years old, and the level of performance is spectacular. People go, oh, it's going to be the same old song. it's the same old songs, but with a new, strong, vibrant energy to them. The vocals are spectacular. These guys are the best musicians. And I think I owe it to the people in the audience to put together the absolute best band that I can, to present the best show. I take care of myself physically. I get enough sleep. I eat well. I exercise. I sing every day. I play guitar every day. So when I walk out on stage, I want to present the absolute best I can do.
Well, of course, you cannot stand next to Fingers Felder unless you are of an echelon of, like an amazing musician. I mean, come on, that's not the easiest thing to do. So these guys have to be incredible. Well, let's talk about, speaking of incredible, you've got this super cool collection out. It's called The Vault 50 Years of Music. What I love about this when I first started listening, I think it was brilliant that you released it in late May. It's a very summertime kind of feel for the music. And that's what your music and Eagles music has always reminded me of. Not necessarily because I listen to it in the summertime, but it brings you back to a place in your mind. When you're a kid and you feel like summers as a kid. So I'm not really sure when I was listening to Hotel California or Victim of Love, but I know that that vibe reminds me of summer. And I get that essence with this great collection. Re-released demos, unreleased tracks, stuff that you kind of found. Talk to me about the vault.
Okay. Well, I lived out in Malibu for 29 years and went through five major fires. I had friends of mine whose houses burned down. One guy, his house burned down. He had an incredible collection of great old Les Pauls and antique Martin guitars gone. Another friend of mine had a studio burned to the ground. So finally, after the fifth fire, I went, I like it out here, but I think it's time for me to move out before I become one of the victims of a fire. So I pack up everything. I take my studio, my recording gear, my console, tape machines, everything in that studio I had in Malibu for so many years, and I just put it in storage in the year 2000 when I moved out of Malibu. After 20 something years, I moved into LA. I bought a house that I'm in right now that I bought from Seal, the singer. He had built a studio room, but when he moved out, he took all of his recording gear. So I said, well, I've got my recording gear. So I better go over to the locker and take a look at this stuff. This is about 4 or 5 years ago. And so I'll go open up this locker, and there's my old antique console and my old 24 track tape machine, stuff that people really don't use anymore. It's pretty much all digital Pro Tools and that sort of stuff. But I turn around and I see this box on the floor, and it's just full of cassettes, ADATs, CDs, and it's all the rough mixes that I had done over the years. I would just thrown them in this box and put them in storage. So I said, I should bring that box back to my new digital studio. And before these things just dissolve like they do when they get old, let's transfer them over to Pro Tools at 96K, really high resolution. So we're sitting in there transferring these things because you usually get maybe 2 or 3 plays before the oxide just corrodes off the back. So we captured everything on the first play, and I thought, I remember that slide idea. That was a great idea. And I put a little check by it, right? Then I had recorded just a demo of me playing electric piano on this progression. It was a really beautiful progression. I said, star that. So I went through and starred about 6 or 8 song ideas. When I first joined the band, Bernie Ledden told me, if you want to write songs for the Eagles, don't write lyrics and don't write melodies. Make music beds in a song structure, like an introduction, verse one, verse two, chorus, verse three, chorus, solo, chorus, 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 right? And so just make music beds like that and then give them the music beds. And if they hear something they like, they'll write the lyrics for it. So I wound up producing probably 100 song ideas, and that when even we only got through a small part of these cassettes before we stopped and said, let's just take these songs that we've got now, these song ideas that are incomplete, and I'll just rebuild them from the ground up. I'll just have new players come in and take those ideas. Then I'll finish writing the lyrics, and I'll sing it. So we'd finish these rough ideas. Starting back in the very first song on the album is a song called Move On.
Hmm.
And it was a demo. The first thing I did when I joined the Eagles, I made that slide demo for them in 1974. And so There's music in here that I had written through the decades, through 84 and 94. And during Hell Freezes Over, I was writing songs in hopes that we would make another album. And so finally we got down and I said, well, I have to put some stuff on there that's new that I've just written. So I wrote two new songs. One of them is written about my girlfriend called I Like the Things You Do. And I have to when I get an idea for a song, I have to record it somewhere because 2 days later I'll go, what was that idea? What was that progression? How did that go? So I'm on a treadmill with my girlfriend who's on the treadmill next to me. We're working out and I've got ears in. And so I start running in time and in that meter, in that time, I start having this lyric idea, and I pick up my phone while I'm running on the treadmill and I'm singing, I really like all the things that you do. And I look over at the guy next to me, and he's looking at me going, what the heck are you doing? But I just happened to catch that little phrase at that tempo. And so that later I could come back to the studio and take that idea and start building it from drum machine all the way up, and then finally having great players come in to work on it with me. As a matter
Oh,
of
the
fact, if
best.
you look at the credits on this record, it's people that I have known for decades. It's guys from Toto, like David Page and Luke at the Seat and Luke at there, and there's drummers on there that just like Jim Keltner plays on this one song called "Let Me Down Easy." It's just a beautiful big ballad. He's the perfect pocket for that song. I finally had a track with the drum machine done for I Like the Things You Do. So I called Jaden, my girlfriend, and played it for her. And I said, who should we get to play drums on this? She said, Todd Zuckerman. I love Todd. And when we did tours and shows with Todd in the past, she would go backstage and behind Todd, he has a hole right behind his drummer, right behind his drum kit, that his drum tech sits there and watches in case he drops a stick or breaks a head or something happens. He can run around and go take care of it, right? So Jaden used to sit back there and
Watch.
watch Todd play because he's such a just a really active, powerful drummer. She said, let's get Todd on that. So I sent him the track. He has a studio set up with his drums ready to record. He records it, sends it back literally within an hour, and it's just fantastic. So we did most of the drums at here live at my studio or another couple of studios nearby. But just Nathan East comes in. I've known
Oh,
Nathan. As a matter of fact, I stole him from Kenny Loggins in the 70s
he's
and then clapped
amazing. Oh,
and
the
then and then
greatest.
and then Clapton stole him from me,
I
damn
went to
it.
many a Clapton show to see Nathan East. I would be like,
He's
"Where's Nathan East? He's got to be on
he,
this tour." He's an amazing, amazing bass
yeah,
player. I mean, just incredible. Yeah, I looked. I mean, Greg Fillinganes. I mean, you've got all of these
yeah,
incredible people here. It's
yeah,
amazing. Brian Tishy is Brian. Now the
yeah,
Tish is on because Brian's a
yeah,
Jersey guy, Morristown,
yeah,
New Jersey. We love
that's right.
Brian, and Brian
Yeah,
appears on this
yeah,
record too. Yeah,
yeah.
there's just so much on this record. It is absolutely a brilliant piece of music. I like the things you do, by the way. I also want people to check out the video because it's really cool. It's a very kind of cool, sexy video that you got going on for that song.
Well, I never do music videos. We never did them in the Eagles. I think I did one for my first solo record for Bad Girls, and it was kind of fun because my friend Cheech Marin was actually in it with me, and we spent a lot of time just laughing and having fun. So when they called me up from the record label and said we want to do a music video on "I Like the Things You Do," I went, "Well, who are you going to cast in it?" And they said, "Well, how about you and your girlfriend?" Since you wrote it for her, and I went, okay, here we go. So we went in and shot that. It was a lot of fun. It was only about a 3 hour shoot. It was pretty fast. And so they edited it together and it turned out pretty well. I was
Yeah, it looks
happy
like
with it.
fun. It just looks like one of those fun videos that people would want to see. And I'm glad that you decided to do, a video for that song, a non-lyric video
Yeah,
for that song, because I think it just
yeah,
tells a really fun story and super
yeah.
cool. And then you reworked the 81 classic heavy metal. This heavy metal to me, it just seems to have, and I'm trying to think of like the best way to say it, but I'm just going to say it in my Jersey phrase. It just has some bigger balls. It's just a ballsier version. It's got
That's
some real
definitely
kick,
Jersey.
right? It's got like some real
Absolutely.
kick to it.
Well, here's what happened. I had been listening to the original version of heavy metal for decades, and every time I heard it, against today's technology, it just sounded dated. You know, the analog tapes and the analog mixing and all of that. It just didn't sound up to par sonically. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go in and redo it. And I got Chad Cromwell, who's probably one of the greatest session drummers around. Has played with Neil Young and everybody. He came in to my studio, and literally within 30 minutes, we had done three perfect takes. The guy came in was just 30 minutes. It was like it was a 3 hour session, and it took longer to get the studio up and running than it did for him to actually play it, right? So anyway, as we went through it, we tried to do it with the highest level of quality we could and still hold a lot of the old parts. I mean, we didn't like rewrite it like heavy metal 2025. It's just a re-recording of the song that everybody's heard for a long time, and it sounds modern. It sounds like
I love
2025.
it. I love it. And that's one of my favorite songs. That's a song people still request. And I'm always happy to play that. And it just kind of takes me back to this great place. So I love, the familiar yet fresh feeling of a lot of this stuff, on this record is exactly, I think, what makes it such a beautiful, such an incredible record. And you seem to be having just such a great time all the time being out there and making music and doing what you do. Talk to me about your perspective on the music business now, because it hasn't always been great for you and for so many people that have been in. The peaks and valleys are just, they're the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. And you've seemed to come out the other side. And what is that like for you?
Well, when I started playing music, I was 10 years old, destitute poverty on a dirt road in the deep south in Gainesville, Florida. We didn't really have two dimes to rub together. There was no internet or iPhones. There was nothing to do except I felt madly in love with music and got a guitar and started teaching myself when I was 10 years old. Before there was Grammys, before there were rock stars, except for maybe Elvis or something like that. But I didn't go into music for any other reason other than just being madly obsessed and in love with playing music. And that's what's driven me for the last 70 years. All the ups and downs, it doesn't matter. If you're still doing what you love to do, those things are just like bumps in the road. You just keep going and doing what you love. And when you grow up that poor, you can't lose anything. You don't have anything to lose. You can go, as long as you're playing in bars or in clubs or whatever for the rest of your life, I'd be happy doing that as long as I'm playing. And so it doesn't matter if I walk out and play a private show for somebody's 50th birthday party in New York City, and it's for 8 people, or I walk out and play for 120,000 people in Wembley Stadium, or I go out on this tour and we playing between 10 and 20,000 people per night. It doesn't matter the size of it. It's just me loving to play and loving to write new stuff and go play new songs. As a matter of fact, I was really pleasantly surprised when I threw in the middle of my set, I like the things you do. And the crowd's like rocking to it. They've never heard it before, but they're rocking to it. And the girls are getting up and dancing to it. And I went, I chose the right song for the first single when I watched the crowd do it. So I just
Absolutely.
love to play. I just love to play. I never did it for the money. I never did it for the fame. I still don't. I don't need to make another dime for the rest of my life. I love to work. I love to. It's not work if it's a labor of love. And so I love to spend my time, however much I've got left, doing what I love to do, which is writing, recording, and performing.
And making people happy. For me, being able to sit here and pick your brain about music is a gift to me. My goodness. I mean, what a way to spend an afternoon. Don Felder, I'm always so happy to see you. We will see you July 20th at the PNC Bank Arts Center in Homedale, and of course, Freedom Mortgage Pavilion in Camden on August 8th with Styx and Kevin Cronin playing all of those amazing hits. One of the great tours, I think, one of the really fun classic rock tours of the summer. And everybody, the vault is out. 50 years of music, some incredibly tasty nuggets in there.
That means a lot to me that you hear everything that comes out, and for you to like it that much, I really appreciate it. I'm very happy. It makes me happy.
I love it. Don, please be well. We will see you soon.
Well, I hope to see you at one of these shows, like I said, so I can give you a hug and thank you personally for taking the time to do
I
this. It's
wouldn't
always
wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it. All the best, my friend. Love you. Mwah.
okay. Okay, see ya. Bye.